Hey, so before you go to the nursery and you get yourself a fruit tree, I want you to know a few things to look for beforehand so that you don't buy a bad tree. Or a not well taken care of tree. This right here, for example, it's a pretty big root and it's kind of high up. This is what you would call a girdling root. Now, if you're at the nursery and you're looking for a good tree to buy and you're looking at trunk size, I would say the trunk size looks not too bad considering the size of the pot. However, when you see this kind of root wrapping around, this can actually girdle the whole tree and prevent the tree from getting any nutrients to move up. So one thing that I obviously didn't realize this was here whenever I bought the tree. Sorry, I keep getting ants on me. So one thing I recommend doing, and I'm not sure why I didn't do it at the time, is pull some of the dirt away from the crown of the tree. And this is totally fine. Even if you pull some of these smaller roots, these are the feeder roots, it's totally fine. They'll grow back. It's not going to kill the tree. It's not a big deal. So move them back away from the trunk so you know exactly where the top of the crown is and where the roots start. Because generally you'll see roots, the bigger ones kind of coming out like that. And then that would be a healthy tree. And sometimes they can be just sort of, random and scraggly, but for the most part, you see how on this citrus tree, you can see those roots and they're just going straight out for the most part. That's perfectly fine. This is what you don't want. And what you can do with this is, if you got your tree from Home Depot, Lowe's, or Walmart, they have a 1-year money-back guarantee. So you can either go and exchange it for a different one, or you can just full on get your full refund. So that would be my first recommendation, because obviously the next recommendation is you're going to have to cut it. And yeah, there could be some dieback and some issues, and it looks like it. Actually, no, that's from where this was really snug on there, and I took it off. But there could be some dieback once you clip this, but citrus tend to be very resilient, and because this is a higher up root too, I'm not as concerned with it. Sorry, that's my baby. She's in the carrier on my back. She wants to be a part of the video. So I would suggest cutting this and being as careful as possible not to damage the trunk of the tree. And that is if you're going to keep it, or if you're past the 365-day money-back guarantee. Or if you maybe got it from a nursery that is not a commercial place like Walmart and Home Depot and those. Also, Fast Growing Trees offers the 1-year money-back guarantee as well. But they'll actually help you to either doctor it, or they will give you your money back or send you a new tree. So those are just some things, some tips. Another thing to look at as I'm removing some of the grafting tape here to show you exactly where the graft union is. That's another thing that you want to take a look at when you're purchasing a tree, because you want to make sure. Sorry, the camera's moving so much. My baby's playing. Okay, Mama, stand. Okay. It's like I'm moving around a little bit with her. But this is where the graft union is at, and you can see, and it's. Let me go to the other side, so you can see it from this side as well. So the graft union looks pretty healthy, so I'm not really too concerned with that. But obviously, if the graft union had like a hole or like some kind of rot, it didn't look like a green healthy tree, then that's another thing that you definitely don't want to buy a tree that has an unhealthy graft, because guess what? That graft is more than likely going to die. So that's another thing to look at. Next, you want to look at the pot down here. If it has like roots, like big old roots like this size that are coming out of the bottom of the pot, I don't have an example for you at the moment that I can show you, but you definitely don't want, it doesn't mean that plant can't be healthy, but the chances of it being root bound, which means that it's been in this little pot for so long that it's like got its roots, its big roots, the important ones all wrapped up, And so that's going to prevent it from growing healthy, and it may encounter a lot of problems later on. Now, it isn't to say that, especially if it's like a dwarf tree, you can totally keep it in a pot so long as the canopy is kept small, and you won't necessarily have those root problems. But I would say if you plan on doing that, you should check out the roots once in a while just to see if they need any root pruning, or if you need to up pot the plant to a larger pot. Citrus are kind of nice in the sense that they're sort of like a over glorified bush more so than a tree, or like a large bush. So they're a little bit more resilient when it comes to being in pots, which is nice because you don't have to put a citrus tree in the ground. So another thing is you want the leaves. Now, I will give some credit to this. This is from Walmart, and I just found the tree, and I've been looking for a Morrow blood orange for a while, and this was a reasonably priced one. So I went ahead and got it, but I might actually look to see if it's still within the money back guarantee time frame so that I can do that instead of clipping the root. But another thing I would want you to know is that it was green before, for the most part. It had some yellowing because it's starting to get cool, and but and that can be a normal thing with citrus trees. That it will get a little bit yellow whenever the season starts cooling off. But for the most part, you want to make sure you have green, dark green, healthy leaves. And this is not healthy. This is a leaf miner. Sadly, I have those in my backyard right now. But that aside, the yellowing is usually, it's a chlorotic plant. It needs iron, and it's deficient in vitamins. So you can you can remedy that rather with fertilizer. Obviously, there's citrus fertilizer, or if you want to get really technical with it, you can look exactly. If you're somebody who likes to add the precise measurements of things that you want to do. What I do is I typically just get a organic citrus fertilizer or organic fruit tree fertilizer, like Kellogg or something like that. It has mycorrhiza and things, so I just kind of sprinkle that in the top and mix it in, and then I water that in. I haven't done that with this tree. It's been a bit neglected, but today it's going to get repotted, and I'm going to give it some new soil. But yeah, those are just some things that I wanted to cover before you go and spend a bunch of money on a tree and then you end up with something like this. And another thing I was going to say is that I had a friend who had a beautiful, very healthy lemon tree, and all of a sudden the whole side of their tree had died back. Now the graft hadn't died back, but half of the graft did, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And my hypothesis, although I hadn't dug it up yet, is that they probably deeper down had a girdling root. So if you have something like that and you suspect that could be the problem, I would suggest digging up the top roots of the tree and kind of rinsing off the area and just seeing what's going on here, and try to mitigate it if you can by clipping this root. So yeah, just a few tips, and happy gardening, and leave some comments in the comment section if you have any questions on this, and if you like this content and you want to see more, please like and subscribe.